Welcome back, Patriots. I took way too big of a gulp to the Bald Brad Show. It is officially Monday, February 3rd. We've already jumped into a whole nother month with Donald J. Trump as the 47th president of the United States, and he is making a splash. He's making a bang. The dude is doing everything I wanted and more. And boy, oh boy, we got a lot of news to cover today, Patriots. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a lovely weekend. If I look tired, it's because I am. It was a long weekend. Your boy's been sick for the past 4 days, but I'm alive. I'm doing well. And thank you for all the kind emails and comments in our community section. Greatly appreciate all of you. Thank you for sticking around too. We had a little bit of a hiccup, but we got it fixed, and Rumble changed a little bit of their settings on me without telling me, but that's okay. We're cruising, looking for a doozy, whatever the hell that means. Let's jump into the news here, folks, because we got a freaking lot of it. Now, trade wars. Trump's pissing off the Canadians. They're booing us during NHL games and our national anthem. Woo! So, Trump here tosses in tariffs. Look, he said he was going to do it. He said he was going to do it. Folks, this dude's been talking about tariffs since like the 70s, okay? It's nothing new. And Democrats are freaking out for some reason. And then you have the lefty progressives freaking out. The Canadians are crapping their pants. So Trump imposed tariffs on China, Canada, Mexico, and probably coming up the European Union on Saturday. And this came from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, and told reporters Friday afternoon. And we're going to get into the gritty, the nitty gritty, baby. Well, here she is.
Hey, friends at Reuters are reporting that the president has made a decision on the Canada and Mexico tariffs, but that they won't actually be implemented until March 1st. I was wondering if you could confirm that and talk through some of the president's thinking.
I saw that report and it is false. I was just with the president in the Oval Office, and I can confirm that tomorrow, the February 1st deadline that President Trump put into place at a statement several weeks ago continues. The president will be implementing tomorrow a 25% tariffs on Mexico, 25% tariffs on Canada, and a 10% tariff on China for the illegal fentanyl that they have sourced and allowed to distribute into our country, which has killed tens of millions of Americans. These are promises made and promises kept by the president.
The president, yes.
No, you don't need anything more than that. No, here's the mind-blowing thing. I was talking to a buddy about this. I don't get why the Canadians did this to themselves, and quite frankly, the Mexicans. I don't get it. If you heard that, all really the stickler here, Trump's concessions on this whole thing of like, hey, if you do this, we won't impose these tariffs, was stop illegal immigration from happening into the United States. How about you stop allowing fentanyl to be made in your country and then being brought in the United States? And there was like one or two concessions for depending on what country it was, but pretty much that's it. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. Okay, well, screw you, assholes. 25% for you. 25% for you. I really don't like you. And screw you, you get 10%. So Trump implemented 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada. I think the Canadian imports were aluminum and steel, but I might not be correct on that. He might have changed it. 10% additional tariff on China just because he really doesn't like them. This was done through the International Emergency Economic Powers Act because of the major threat of illegal aliens and deadly drugs killing our citizens, including fentanyl. It wasn't like a drastic thing they had to do here. This is an obvious thing. Hey, why don't you tamp down on the illegal immigration that's happening in your home countries? Stop allowing them from coming here. And then why don't you stop fentanyl? It's killing your own people too. It's nothing crazy. But to them it is, because everything's ass backwards in this world. Everything is ridiculous. We need to protect Americans. Yeah, because it's killing like 250,000. Joey didn't care. Democrats love seeing all this stuff. And it is my duty as president to ensure the safety of all. Yeah, it's actually your number one duty. It's your number one responsibility as the head police officer of the country to protect all Americans and enact and enforce the laws. I made a promise on my campaign to stop the flood of illegal aliens and drugs from pouring across our borders, and Americans overwhelmingly voted for it. And then when he comes in and does the thing he said he's going to do, people's minds are blown. How could he? Where did this come from? I don't know, maybe like 40 years of him talking about if he ever became president, this is what he's going to do. And then when he does it, people are like, what? What happened? Where did this come from? It's unbelievable. It truly is. And it's all common sense. None of this is crazy. So here he is in the Oval Office talking about tariffs.
Almost no inflation. And yet I charged hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs to countries. And think of it, I had almost no inflation and I took in $600 billion of money from other countries. And tariffs don't cause inflation, they cause success. They cause big success. So we're going to have great success. I had almost no.
So how is this going to play out? We got a lot more clips to cover on this, folks, because there's a lot of information that's coming out that you almost don't know who to trust. This guy over here says that it's going to cause massive inflation and that we're the one that's going to be footing the bill and the tariffs are going to be passed on to the consumer. And then you got this guy over here on like Fox or Right Side Broadcasting Network saying, oh, it's the greatest thing that's ever existed. Nothing's going to happen. We're going to make America wealthy again. I'm not here to bullshit you. I'm just going to tell you straight up what most likely will happen. And the answer is not really sure. What I do know about tariffs, I'm an accounting major. You have to take a lot of economics classes. You have to take a lot of finance classes, a lot of accounting classes. And by the way, a lot of us had to follow not just GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles, but we also have to follow IFRS, which is international financial standards. How tariffs work is he just imposed a 25% tariff on Canada, right? Let's say that you bought steel from Canada. Well, that steel is going to cost a tax of 25%, right? When you buy it, right there at the port of entry. That doesn't mean that you're going to pass down a whopping 25% increase on your good and service to your consumer. Are you insane? What business is going to do that? You just lost business. So what business owners do is they will eat some of their own profit to offset that 25% increase. Let's just make up a number to make life easy. Let's say 15%. The profit's going to be eaten up by 15% of whatever good or service is purchased from Canada. Well, yes, that gets passed down now 10% onto the person that's going to be buying your product. But what you would do, knowing that something like this would happen, is that you would call up the Canadian businesses that you're purchasing the good or service from that's also making a profit on the deal and seeing if they can offset it as well. So you very well might not actually see any change because there's negotiations happening on either side of the countries and trying to bring down that offset or that cost that was just incurred, meaning the tariff, as much as possible. Now, here's the thing. Let's just pretend that the offset wasn't able to happen. Americans can eat this difference. The Canadians can't. The Canadian economy is struggling. There is almost as many people in the state of California as there is in all of Canada. I think Canada only has like 40 million people. The state of California has almost 39 million people. The economy of Texas is like almost bigger than freaking all of Canada. I don't know what they were thinking, but I'm telling you what, if you were to unzip your pants and do a pissing contest, we're winning all day. Their Canadian dollars not doing so hot right now. I don't know what they were thinking trying to do a trade war with the United States, but we're a major economic power and it's mind-blowing. I don't know what Trudeau was thinking, but that was at least part of what's going on with these tariffs. Now, Trump allegedly imposed more because Justin Trudeau came out and wanted to, kind of duke it out a bit, and we'll get to that in just one moment. But if you're enjoying the show, we got a lot of new people actually watching us. I'm trying to make an impact more on TikTok here, and they might have came over and joined us in the live chat. So if you are coming over from TikTok, thank you. I greatly appreciate you. And please smash that like button. It really does support the channel. If you're new here, YouTube is shadow banning us. We have almost 68,000 subscribers, almost 69,000, and we got 36 people watching. If that makes sense to anybody, please let me know, because I'm actually a statistician. I teach statistics. It doesn't make sense to me. I'd also like to point out the fact that we have over 2,000 videos on YouTube, and they're not even pumping out any of them. We're getting 4 views an hour with 69,000 subscribers and over 2,000 videos in our catalog. But no, yeah, everything's normal. Everything's fine. Well, here's Trump on X going, we pay hundreds of billions of dollars to subsidize Canada. Why? There is no reason. We don't need anything they have. Well, you guys need our maple syrup, right? Right? No. No. Make that shit here. We have unlimited energy, should make our own cars, and have our own and more lumber than we can ever use. Without this massive subsidy, Canada ceases to exist as our viable country, or as a viable country. Harsh but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state, baby. Much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. Look, I would love to say that he's wrong, but he's not. I like the guy. I would love for this to be wrong, but it's not. There's a reader's note down here, says Canada buys more from the United States than any other country does. If the energy sector, oil, natural gas, and electricity is not included in calculations, the U.S. has a trade surplus with Canada for the last 16 years straight. If that's not accounted for, Canada's screwed big time. And they're all booing us at their NHL games going, boo, their national anthem. Like, we care. We don't care. We could be our own thing. There's so many resources here, we could be our own thing. But for some ungodly reason, Democrats want to rely on other countries for everything. That is such a stupid strategy. It is head spinning. And they woke up to it a little bit. This is maybe, and we have to wait long term, maybe one of the good things that Joe Biden did. And let me tell you, I could probably do it on one fingy, and that would be the CHIPS Act. I don't know the long-term consequences of it. I said that when he actually did it, but we should be producing stuff in the United States. I don't want the Chinese putting chips and spying on everyday Americans like they have been doing. That's in our computers. The military's freaking out right now because the chips that China's been creating have now gone into our own systems and are now able to access certain things. So we need to start creating things here again in the United States, and Donald Trump sees that. This is not a weekend plan, folks. This is not a strategy that's going to happen and change things in a year. You're talking a 4 to a decade-long plan that Donald Trump is trying to do here of turning this ship around to where we're not relying on countries for things. We're not relying on countries for defense systems, which we actually do somewhat. We're not going to rely on other countries for goods and services all the time. And quite frankly, we're tired of giving other countries all of our aid. It is mind-blowing the position that politicians have put us in. And I think we're all a little fed up with it. And something needs to change. Something needs to give. And we're going to be breaking down a lot of that for you today. Now, we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries. That needs to change immediately because these countries are ripping us off. So one component that nobody's talking about right now is Donald Trump's tariffs in conjunction with the Doge implementation. Doge is saving $1 billion. Elon Musk, I don't know if anybody was listening to the chat last night. It was around midnight. Your boy was watching and listening to it. Doge is cutting. They're talking like one the true. As of right now, they were saying, him and Vivek in the live chat were saying, if they can keep this pace up, they're looking at cutting $1 trillion easy. They said for sure $1 trillion, that they're very confident they're going to cut $1 trillion from our budget. And what you need to realize is, let's just say they can cut $1 trillion. Let's play fair. Let's do lowball numbers. They're cutting $1 trillion. Well, if you can cut $1 trillion from our numbers, and then you're also increasing production here in the United States, you're creating more competition with other countries around the globe by utilizing tariffs, which is also bringing in money. Well, what you can end up doing here is stagnate inflation, where you're not going to have a deficit anymore. And so there's no need to borrow because there is nothing to borrow because you could pay your own bills. And so, folks, You know what that does? Well, you have no borrow. You have no interest. You have no interest. You have no inflation. And so this is exactly the components that we wanted, that we were talking about for the last 4 years. And if Donald Trump gets in, that we expect to happen. And what we've been talking about here on the show for at least 2 years of, folks, you hold me to this. What did I say? I said, things aren't going to change. Our best bet is to make sure things stagnate. Joe Biden screwed our country over. That ain't going to change, folks. The prices for stuff ain't going to drop drastically like we saw pre-COVID. Those days are gone. He gave us the double barrel middle finger. All this would do, what Elon's doing in Trump, is the goal here is to stop prices from increasing. They're stagnated. They're not going to be touched. But what will happen is everything else around it is interest rates will lower, meaning now you could finance a car, which you shouldn't really do. But if you had to finance a car, that's going to be lowered. You could refi your mortgage. You can also refi other things, and that's all going to drop drastically. So while everything else is going to be increasing, interest rates are going to be dropping, and everything is going to be stagnating. And by everything increasing, I'm talking about your real wages. Now, does that create inflation? Truthfully, yeah. But there's good inflation, there's bad inflation. I don't think a lot of people on the Democrat side of the aisle see the long-term holistic view of what Trump is doing here, but it's a remarkable thing, actually. It really is. This is the only time to do it, you guys. I can't tell you how excited I am if they could pull this off. Remember how I said that we're an outlier in terms of democracies and republics? Nobody's ever lasted as long as us. We're basically an experiment here. Meaning that we are moving closer to imploding as a country and being donezo. I've always said this. I said, even if Trump gets elected, it's not that won't happen. It's just we're delaying the inevitable. I'm more than happy to say I was wrong. If they can pull this off in the next 4 years to 8 years, as Doc Brown says, when this baby gets up to 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit. That's exactly what we're about to see. Now, you got JD Vance jumping into the mix here, says Mexico sends tons of fentanyl into our country. And Canada has seen a massive increase in fentanyl trafficking across its borders because they don't do anything with it over there. They just allow it. There are 3 ways of stopping this. The first is to ask nicely, which they did. Let's be fair. Numerous amounts of times. They even brought freaking Justin Trudeau to Mar-a-Lago. And that's where Trump got in trouble because he goes, look, Justin, look, you SOB, if you don't want to sit there and allow this stuff to stop, then you're going to become the 51st state. How does that sound, Justin? And then he crapped his pants. He soiled it. He took a note from Joey, went to the bathroom, threw his underwear in the trash, and came back out and acted like a big boy. And he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. There are 3 ways of stopping this. The first is to ask nicely, which we've done, and it's gone nowhere. Now we're on the consequences phase. Yes. And then JD goes further, and I love this. Spare me the sob story about how Canada is our best friend. I love Canada and many Canadian friends, but it's the government meeting their NATO target military spending of 2%, I believe. Whoa, they got to do 2%, guys. Woo, pump the brakes here. Are they stopping the flow of drugs in our country? No. Hey, they got to chip in 2% while we're freaking giving the entire North and South of America, security. Give me a break. And he's right. I got backlash for this, of saying that I'm so tired of people calling us their allies, and then they're allowing illegal aliens to pour into our country left and right. They're allowing fentanyl to pour in here. You're not our allies. You're just an asshole. And somebody needs to start using that term again. Can we bring back asshole again? Because I've been calling people on Twitter left and right a bunch of a-holes, because that's exactly what they are. You're not our friend if you're allowing this to happen to another friend. Hey, buddy, here's a bunch of fentanyl. Yeah, take it. No, it's good. And then it kills all your buddies. That's not a friend. Are you kidding? Common sense. It's common sense. Canadians coming in here and poisoning us. Hey, well, we're good, right? Yeah, no, we're good. No, we're not. We're not at all. You get free defense just by you being located to the north of us. Get out of here. Look, I like the Canadians. I played hockey there. I played hockey in Calgary. I like them. But you know what? How about you start having some common sense here and stop being progressive lefties and wake up a little bit, and maybe things will turn out for the better. So here's JD Vance speaking to Fox News.
The problem with this whole idea that they're going to retaliate is they have already been taking advantage of America for decades. The retaliation is Donald Trump saying no more. We're not going to be taken advantage of anymore. And I think it's important the president is doing what he's doing. Now, look, it looks different ways and comes in different forms, whether you're talking about Canada or China or Mexico. We know that Mexico has allowed the facilitation of the illegal drug trade and illegal sex trafficking for years and has done nothing about it. If they want to be a better partner to us, the time starts now. We know the Chinese, of course, have stolen American manufacturing jobs for 30, 40 years, and also that they facilitated the trafficking of illegal fentanyl into Mexico, where the drug cartels then bring it into our country. We are sick of being taken advantage of. We still have, thank God, the biggest economy in the entire world, the best people and the best workers. But the message from President Trump to the entire world is very clear. We are done being taken advantage of, and we have a president who looks out for the interests of American citizens. Thank God we do, and we're going to try to do it the best we can.
Nothing he's... You guys know me. I will call out Republicans. I'll call out conservatives, Democrats. I don't care who you are. If it goes against, honestly, what I believe in my channel, obviously, but I'm going to call them out. He didn't say anything wrong here. We're tired of being everybody else's little bee. And I'm quite frankly tired of it as well. And then finally, when we have people speaking up, meaning Donald Trump, JD Vance, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, held the entire Republican Party, these countries have their panties in a bunch. You're not entitled to any of our money, and we need to cut it off now. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, and I know it's 6:30 in the morning and we're all tired, and Brad, you're screaming in the mic. Folks, it is so simple to turn this country around, and it's actually happening, and people are complaining. People are complaining. They're storming the streets across the country complaining about getting rid of murderers and rapists. They're complaining about having more money in their pockets. You couldn't make this up. You really couldn't. Oh, God. They're giving us our money back. They're not allowing other countries to take advantage of us anymore. What the hell is wrong with these Democrats? That's what they're doing. Can't make it up. You can't make it up. I got to read this nice comment from Emmy Joe here. She says, Bald Brad, I watch you every morning, but I have to search your channel and it's never in my algorithm. I've always wondered why you have such a small live audience. I think you have a great channel. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you. I think we have an okay show here. I think we do pretty good for a guy that's just by himself, basically. You know? But yes, we're being shadow banned, and YouTube does not want to admit it. They don't. And it's frustrating because we're having to do other routes, like put our own money in as a community and do advertising to gain subscribers. That's how we have to do it, because they don't want to pump our stuff out naturally. Can you imagine the bang that we would make? Hand to God, I don't mean to push this, but I bring the energy. Do I not? I bring a little bit of energy here for 6 a.m. in the morning. It's not easy, but we do it. I don't see another content creator doing this. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing nonetheless, and you think we deserve a subscription, hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We got a lot of news to cover here, and we ain't going anywhere. We got a new plug here, folks, a new sponsor, folks. Trump is finally back in office, and it's only gonna get better from here, baby. As a celebration, Patriot Addict is sending our free Trump red knives to people who voted for Trump. Can you imagine having those around? Ugh. This is just their way of saying thank you for supporting him and being part of the most important moment in history. Normally, this knife retails for just $100. Woo! But right now, you can grab it for just the cost of shipping. Scan the QR code, you see it on the screen, to the right to apply your Yo, it was morning. Hand to God, I didn't think the deal was this good. This is the first time I'm seeing this. Scan the QR code to the right to apply your 100% off coupon and claim your Trump knife today. I'm not kidding. I'm actually getting this deal myself too. So scan that bad boy and get that 100% off. No, they're serious. You're actually just paying for shipping. It's my own ad. Hold on a second. Let me get that deal. I'm grabbing it too, folks. I'm right there with you. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Grab those like hotcakes. Oh my God. I mean, come on. Everything's good. Trump's sitting there smacking around other countries that want to take advantage of us. JD Vance is putting in the work on the freaking news sites. We basically have the dream team here, if you really think about it. Because remember how Donald Trump had to do a lot of this smacking around the press himself? Because Mike Pence's wee-wee was duct taped to his gooch. Now he has JD Vance going out and doing this great stuff for us. It's awesome. It's awesome. BB's always grabbing it live, dirty boy. Thank you, Shib. Thank you. Brad is Brad, I got one. It was free and it's nice. There you go, Mark. Grab them up. And it's nice. I don't have one. I gotta get one today. All right. Moving on here. We got more stuff. So Justin thought that he would be a big boy here. And he comes out, and I'm telling you, the people in the back look like they just got done crying. He comes out and imposes his own tariffs.
Bonsoir. Good evening.
Look at him.
Today, the United States informed us they will be imposing 25% tariffs on Canadian exports to the United States and 10% on Canadian energy. Bonsoir.
Why would you have a leader that knows they don't want to lead? He basically resigned, right? And now he's just waiting for the election to come up. And this dude that doesn't even want to be your own leader wants to get out. And people are saying, didn't he resign? It's effective soon. Well, yeah, I think it's this fall that he's actually getting out. That's the dude that's calling your shots for your country and just allowing you to eat your own currency. So he suggests that Canadians shouldn't vacation in the United States. That's okay. Canada. Is my mic on? Canada. We have 350 million people here, plus people traveling from other countries. I'm absolutely 100% okay if you don't come here. I'm in Southern California. I got Knott's Berry Farm. I got Disneyland. I got Universal Studios. I have Six Flags. I have the beach. I have mountains. I can go surfing to any one of those theme parks and to the beach all in one day. I'm okay with you not coming here because that means less lines for me. Yes, and it's okay. It's okay. Don't come. Don't come. Who does that sound like?
Now is also the time to choose Canada. There are many ways for you to do your part. It might mean checking the labels at the supermarket and picking Canadian-made products. It might mean opting for Canadian rye over Kentucky bourbon, or foregoing Florida orange juice altogether. It might mean changing your summer vacation plans to stay here in Canada and explore the many national and provincial parks, historical sites, and tourist destinations our great country has to offer. And now is also the time to choose Canada.
Stop, Justin. Fuck. I told you, bask in these next 4 years. It's going to be the greatest 4 years of politics you've ever seen in your life. And I'm somebody that loves politics, and I am not taking this for granted by any means. I have no problem with waking up at 4:30 in the morning to do this show and present to you, all fine patriots, this great news every single day. I mean, there's so much news. I have to kind of siphon through of what I want to pick out and cover, or else we'll be doing like 8-hour-long podcasts. Well, they have the reporters coming out and talking about this trade war even more. And a senior White House correspondent, Peter Navarro, says this is not a trade war. This is President Trump and the American people defending ourselves against carnage. And he's correct. There's no war here. We don't want war. We would just like countries to treat us with the respect and the dignity that we deserve, and they're not willing to give it to us. And so it's fine. We'll slap you around a bit. And by the way, like I said, cut off all aid. I'm saying cutting off all aid. That's not very empathetic. Neither is you coming in here and dropping your criminals off in our country. I'm so tired how it's a one-way street. Aren't you guys tired of that too, Patriots? I see in the chat. Aren't you tired that it's you, Americans, that have to change, not us? Not us dropping our tariffs off in your country, not us dropping fentanyl off in your country that kills 250,000 of you each and every year. No. You have to change, not our country. No. Why don't we cut off the aid and stop sending you the food, water, all that stuff, and then let's just see how long you last.
Don't call it a war. This is not a trade war. That's the rhetoric of the globalists who want to send our jobs offshore and our factories offshore. This is President Trump and the American people defending themselves, in this case, against carnage. I mean, look, there's nothing more important than saving the lives of Americans. People are dying in record numbers. And by the way, from an economic point of view, John, most of the people who are dying are in the 18 to 45 age group. It's the leading cause of death. And that's our prime working force era. So this is a huge crisis, and we're not, President Trump, promises made, promises kept.
And I think countries are so used to taking advantage of us. And I mean, folks, you're talking, remember, you're at what, 50 years that they've been taking, at least, that's me being generous, at least 50 years of taking advantage of us, that they're not familiar with the United States being the superpower that it is and saying no. We've been such a generous nation that think of the other countries as our children, and we've been spoiling them with free money and they've never had to work for it. I've always said this, hand to God. How many times has anybody in the chat, there's hundreds of people, there'll be thousands of people watching this show by the end of the day. How many of us have ever seen a country come out and do a specialized news conference to say, thank you so much, Americans, for giving us hundreds of billions of dollars every single year so that we could feed our people? I have never seen it in my lifetime. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Where's that on a weekly thing? California just burned to the ground. I don't see the Chinese and everybody just pouring in hundreds of billions of dollars so they could rebuild their homes. I don't see any of that. I don't see planes dropping food down with freaking tents and bean bags and all this other stuff. I don't know why I said bean bags, but sleeping bags. I don't see them doing any of that. I don't think, look at that. Never have ever heard of a thank you. Neither have I. Yeah, there you go. Entitled. Dizzy has it. Pat has it. We've given people money for so long that they just expect it. And then when you cut off the money flow, they go, what? You don't love me. Oh, screw you, you racist, you pieces of ass. They're not entitled to anything. They don't deserve anything. We give it to you because we're the most generous nation that's ever existed. And now when we have to basically help ourselves for a little bit because we've been helping you for so long and shooting ourselves in the foot while doing so, now they have their panties in a bunch. I mean, like I said, everything's ass backwards. And so here is CNN talking about the tariffs as well, saying this tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Not a difficult concept.
This is what really gets at the heart of why the president imposed these specifically on Canada and Mexico. It says in this fact sheet, quote, this tariff will remain in effect until such time as drugs, in particular fentanyl, and all illegal aliens stop this invasion of our country. Now, Jessica, to be clear, and we know this from what the president has said on this previously, that one of the main reasons he wanted to impose these steep tariffs is because he believes that both Canada and Mexico are not doing enough to crack down on the number of drugs and the number of migrants coming in to the United States. So that's really at the crux of all of this. That quote that I read you was at the very top of this White House.
Did you hear what she said there? Do you see this this condescending BS that they push on CNN. Oh, he believes that they are not enforcing their own laws by allowing illegal aliens to come here. Did you guys hear that part?
Previously, that one of the main reasons he wanted to impose these steep tariffs is because he believes that both tariffs is because he believes that both Canada.
No, it's not that he believes. It is happening. What do you mean it's because he believes? No. Everybody looking around believes what is going on. Oh, well, yeah, no, it's just him that he believes that, you guys. No. Majority of Americans believe it, which is why everybody's looking around going, hey, can we stop this now? Can we finally turn this ship around? We're $36 trillion in debt. We don't have the money. It's common sense here. Steven over here with the $10. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Says, Brad, go watch Barry Cunningham, another Trumpster podcaster titled It's 1776 Again. Barry explains a lot in the video before 1776 again. Go watch, please. I'll definitely check it out. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate the $10. And thank you for supporting the show. And that's how we're going to make an impact here and grow is by, I hate to say it, donating to the show does help tremendously. Don't feel like you have to. It is just there for those that want to go and be above and beyond. Because now we're being destroyed by YouTube. Freaking cowards over there at the screw tube. So we got more stuff coming in. Again, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're new to the Bald Brad Show, well, welcome. We do this weekdays, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, you heard that correctly. And if you might be wondering, well, where were you Thursday and Friday, big guy? I was sicker than a dog, and I'm sure you can still hear it. We're on cough syrup and everything. So Trump adds gasoline to the fire. He imposes the tariffs, right? Which we just got done talking about for like 30 minutes. And he comes out and he freaking pulls this stunt. And this is why I love the guy. Trump says, Canada could have no tariffs as the 51st state. As observers, brace for trade war. We don't need to go more into it. I just love the fact that he comes out and says that again, just pouring gasoline onto the fire when everybody's already spazzing out and freaking out. I'm going to let you guys in. I done some numbers, okay? Let's just pretend that all that stuff I spoke about at the beginning of the show wasn't true. Let's just pretend. With Trump doing what he's doing here, you'll probably see a 1% increase in inflation, and that would probably equate to about a $800 on average increase per Americans throughout the year. Now, is that rough for some? Absolutely. I'm not saying it's not like pennies, but it is something that people can navigate around. And if that puts pressure on other countries to stop Americans from dying, I know I'm personally happy to owe or have as part of my expenditures $800 more on average. If it's saving 250,000 people, remember those old commercials? For like 10 cents a day, you can feed a family of 1,000 people. Well, for like a couple dollars a day, you could save 250,000 Americans here and, turn this country around. And there's no other time to do it. Now's the time. And I really do believe that. I put my money where my mouth is. Shibatron here. Shib's from the UK. He says, words, comments. Also, hey, Pat. Well, there you go. Shib, Pat, and Dizzy have like a bromance over at Rumble. Shout out to you guys. Thank you, Shib. Now, if anybody knows who Shib is from the United Kingdom. Shib over here putting money in all the way from across the world. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate you. Well, it's not just Trump putting in these tariffs, and there's going to be more. He's already said he's going to come out and put tariffs on the European Union. Yeah, absolutely. That's what he said. Hand to God. That was the exact word he said. The reporter said, "Sir, are you going to impose tariffs on the EU?" And he goes, "Do you want the truth or you want the political answer?" And I don't know what the reporter said, but Trump goes, "Absolutely." This is great. So Elon, on the other side of things, is trying to cut spending. I am so excited about this. And I told you, I was like a giddy. I looked like a girl that sold all her Girl Scout cookies, folks. I am giddy about this. This is my number one issue other than illegal immigration. And I'm getting both resolved right now. I'm on cloud 9, and I have been. Elon Musk reveals how Doge is cutting billions in spending every day. And it's not like this is a, how am I putting it? This is not an exaggeration. No, he's literally cutting billions of dollars every day. They were talking about on the talk on X just last night at like midnight that there was, you guys heard this before. This isn't anything new, but it might be new to some. They found $50 million in condoms going to Gaza. And even people that were senators in there, and even Elon Musk has said it themselves, they go, we don't actually think it was $50 million going to Gaza for condoms. We think there was something more nefarious going on there. Was there a 50 million expenditure? Absolutely. I was trying to request the mic button and Elon would not let me talk because I wanted to find out, and I think everybody's on board with this because it's common sense. Can we backtrack some of these idiotic expenditures and find out who basically allowed it to happen so that we can fire them immediately? I'm talking effective immediately. The second I see that dude or girl's name on that line going, oh, they signed off for this. Cool. Get a bunch of guys in suits walking in there and escorting their asses out of the building. I don't want that person handling a budget. You're giving 50 millions allegedly for condoms to Gaza? I don't think so. That really happened, by the way. Share that with your friends and family. But don't worry, our government knows how to spend money properly. It knows how to do it correctly. Dizzy with the $20. Can you hear me now? God bless America, MAGA, and F Trudeau. We hear you, Dizzy. Yeah, we hear everybody. We see you. Calm down, boy. Calm down. I love Dizzy. By the way, Dizzy's a very good guitar player. Follow him on TikTok, folks. Dizzy has a TikTok. Follow him. The guy's freaking phenomenal at what he does. He's insane. I watch all his stuff and has a really awesome dog. Shout out to your dog, Dizzy. Dizzy, why don't you throw your dog's name in the chat? We don't know your dog's name. Beautiful dog. Beautiful Labradoodle. I don't know the type of dog, but it is a beautiful dog. Let's get into Doge here. So here's the expenditures. Now, this isn't going to show that 50 million, I believe, but here's like that proof that it is $1 billion in savings per day. My question is why has this not been done? I commented on X. If you're not following me on X, please do so because I post quite a bit. This should have been done 50 years ago, you guys. This isn't anything that this should have been done a long time ago. This should be done on a yearly basis. And what they were saying last night, and this is why I think we need to bring civics back into the school system. And if you're unaware, they haven't taught civics for like over a decade. It's been a long time since they've allowed it. Is because people don't know how government is supposed to function. Now, you're supposed to learn a little bit of it in U.S. history or APUSH, like AP U.S. history. And you're supposed to take a government class, but that doesn't really teach you the civics of what the intentions were of the founders and how the outgrowths of that are supposed to be displayed in the 21st century. You don't learn any of that. How do I know? I ask all the time. I have people who are 17, 18 that I teach. I teach statistics. And I teach AP statistics and regular statistics. And their minds are blown when you talk about how the country is supposed to be ran. So what they're talking about, and I love that they were willing to say this, is that even if something isn't an obvious cut, like the $50 million in condoms going to Gaza, that's an obvious cut, right? That's something like, who the hell? That just shows how nefarious and how much of a-holes our government officials are, in Congress specifically, is cutting a program and then going, if it is something we really need, then what Congress can do is just bring it back. That's it. If it's that much of a necessity, then we can cut it and then you can re-implement it if you want. Furthermore, is that if it's something that is absolutely a necessity, then push it back to the states. That's how everything was supposed to be created, is pushing everything back to the states and making them pay for the things that they want. And what that does is it creates a competitive state, a competitive union, where now you're competing on a smaller scale rather than necessarily a global scale and being subsidized through everything. And if things are not going well in your state, like California, then you can move to said state that is actually performing well, which, by the way, you're kind of seeing somewhat taking place, where people are fleeing from California in the masses, going to Idaho, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Montana, all these red areas because they don't like the way it's ran. So you need to push a lot of this stuff back to the states and have a federalist country once again, which is the way things were supposed to be created. And that's how things are supposed to be. And because Democrats have their heads so far up there, you know what's, they're not familiar with how the country's supposed to be ran. They want baby daddy to cash out the checks all the time and have the federal government basically paying for all their bills. And so when you say, no, we're not going to do that anymore because you've had entitled people for so long, not everybody, right? The Democrats aren't able to separate in different variables in terms of what you're talking about. We can do it here because we're intelligent. They start complaining. They start whining. They don't know what to do. And you're seeing this from other countries. When you cut off the aid, they're going to start coming at you like you're a terrible parent. Where, why don't you look at your actual parent, meaning the officials in your own country, and make a change there? We've had to go through our own revolution. We've had to go through our own civil war. We had to go through our own atrocities here as a nation to make ourselves better. That means other countries have to do it as well. They have to do it as well. Is that easy for me to say behind closed doors in a freaking closet with a mic and a camera phone? Absolutely. I acknowledge that it's easy. Am I the one that had to fight World War II? No, but my grandparents did. I mean, of course it's easy for me to sit here. So here you go. Here's him talking about the fact that he quite possibly could reduce the deficit by $2 trillion. Reducing the federal deficit from $2 trillion to $1 trillion in fiscal year 2026 alone. Like I said, this is something that needs to be an ongoing process. Granted, Doge expires in 2026, July 4th, 2026. It's the only government program I've actually ever seen in my lifetime that has a start date and ending date. Requires cutting on average $4 billion a day. Now, right now, they're only up to $1 billion a day, so they need to increase this pretty greatly. But spending now has to September 30th. This would still result in a $1 trillion deficit, but economic growth should be able to match that number, which would mean no inflation in 2026. Now, this is the best case scenario, but let's not forget that right now, the intention and the goal is to make sure we can just stagnate things. Because when you can stagnate things, there's still growth behind the scenes. And I kind of covered this early on the show, right? If we don't have inflation, well, what that's going to do is drop the interest rates for your car, your mortgage, all this other stuff, and your credit cards. You can start paying those off, right? If you're actually responsible, now that the government seems to be somewhat responsible, is you could really gain traction here, start affording things, putting money down in other places, start investing appropriately, and you're going to have the economy booming. When people have money in their savings account, what that allows people to do with low interest rates is go out and borrow more money. And that money that's being borrowed is from the backs of average Americans that are putting their money in the banks. And when you have more money and liquid cash for people to take out loans with, you can have a more prosperous and booming economy. And when you have a more prosperous and booming economy, that's more tax revenue coming in, even though you gave the people tax cuts. And what can you do with that money? You could pay off your debt. Novel idea. Novel. It's almost like you could read a book in middle school or high school that talks all about this. But the Democrats, it's mind-blowing. Believe it or not, it is mind-blowing. Not to us here patriots. We all get it. Exactly. Winning. So Plot Pit comes out and says economic growth is critical, but so is cost cutting. Yeah. We have $36 trillion in debt already, with an estimated ungodly $100 trillion of uncommitted spending on the books over the next decade. As I once before, anyhow, it's unfathomable. I can't fathom $1 billion. Can't. Cut off the internet access of the entire remote offices altogether and show Doge can replace them with pine-on cron jobs. That's a little bit out there, but I don't fully disagree. So we're going to keep you updated on what's going on with Doge because it is important, greatly important. Why? Because people are stealing our money. And I guarantee you there's a liberal or Democrat in the chat right now that's not willing to speak up. Do you have any, they always do this, right? We always cover this. Do you have any examples? Oh, really? Where's the receipts? They always do this to us. Always. I don't know. Maybe Zelensky lost over $100 billion. Some of you just spit out your coffee. Some of you just almost got in a car accident as I said that. Coffee tastes a little funky this morning. It's probably because it's not 1775 coffee. I brewed a different roast and I had a little bit left over. My mistake. Zelensky questions $102 billion in missing U.S. aid. I don't know where it went. It's gone. Huh. This is not the only time Ukrainians have lost money, by the way, or Americans. I've always thought this was an embezzlement scheme, money laundering scheme. I always thought that people are filling their pockets with this cashola. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has publicly questioned the discrepancy in U.S. aid to Ukraine, stating that out of the $177 billion supposedly sent, only $75 billion has been received. This has sparked debates about speculation on social media about where's the remaining funds, or is it ever transferred at all? Oh, funny, interesting.
Дивіться, я коли чую, і раніше чув, і сьогодні ми чуємо від Сполучених Штатів Америки, що Америка дала Україні сотні мільярдів, 177, якщо сказати більш точно. Така звучала точна цифра, яку підтримували або голосував Конгрес, тощо різні організації. Дивіться, я як президент воюючої країни вам говорю, ми отримали більше 75. Тобто 100 мільярдів з цих 177, або 200, говорять навіть деякі люди, ми ніколи не отримували. І це важливо. Бо ми говоримо про конкретні речі, бо ми отримали це не грошима, а зброєю. Ми зброю отримали на 70 з чимось мільярдів. Є навчання, тренування, є додатковий транспорт, є не тільки ціну на зброю, були гуманітарні програми, соціальні тощо. Але коли говорять, що...
Did you see that last bit? I know it might have got cut off. There were humanitarian programs, social programs, etc. This is something that nobody talks about. There's a few conservative Republicans out there. You'll hear it from Dan Bongino, maybe some guys from the Daily Wire. You definitely hear it us because, again, immigration and fiscal responsibility are my number 1 and 2 issues, and they flip-flop depending on how bad they are. We are paying for I said this in the past, and this is news to a lot of people because, again, we always get new people joining us. We're paying for their retirement, folks. I'm going to say that again because I think that didn't get across to a lot of people. We're paying for their pensions. We're paying for their education. You're not just paying for their war. You're not. I've said this. We've shown the receipts. This is nothing new. But to a lot of people it is. Why? Because the media doesn't cover it. The mainstream media, the legacy media are garbage. And that's why you got to go to independent places. Excuse me. If it ain't me, go to someplace else that will give you the truth, folks. Fox isn't even giving you the whole truth. Nothing but the truth will help you, God. But I'm going to just shoot you straight. I got nothing. Well, I got a lot to lose, actually. I could lose my career by doing the show, but I've said that before. That's why it's so important that we get members and stuff like that. Because if anything goes south, then I'm screwed. I'll be working at freaking McDonald's. It's not a joke. Really isn't. But I'm at least willing to sit here and tell you the truth. You know what I mean? At least what I think is the truth. I'm not doing that nefariously. I'm not doing that manipulatively, like they like to throw that word out, disinformation, misinformation. I'm bringing you what I think is true, and I'm trying to bring you to the best of my knowledge how I believe based on the books I've read, Thomas Sowell, A Patriot's History of the United States, right? The Federalist Papers, those types of things about the founding of our country, on how things are supposed to be and how they're supposed to be ran, and how if we could do things on an individual level, that should be an outgrowth to how we do it on a federal level. If we have to be fiscally responsible in our own lives, well, then the federal government should be fiscally responsible in their lives as well. If we do a zero budgeting system strategy, well, then the government should do a zero-based budgeting strategy as well, meaning not spending more than you have. And all it does is come back to common sense that I think we can all get around. Now, when I say we can all get around that, I do mean there's some Democrats, a lot of them can't. A lot of them can't get around the fact that we should keep our own money here for a while, pay off our debts, and if we have a surplus, then we can help other people. But if you don't have money, then how are you going to help other people? Mind you, all these people that we're giving money to here are helping destroy our country. We're giving people billions of dollars to allow fentanyl to kill our own people. We are basically paying for the deaths of Americans with our own money. Folks, and this is nothing new, we're paying for terrorism. And Democrats are going, what do you mean? You're a bigot, you racist. What do you mean? I don't know, maybe the fact that Joey's giving the Taliban $87 million a week? The Taliban aren't terrorists. What the hell are you talking about? How about giving the Houthis billions of dollars? How about taking the Houthis off the terror watch list so you can funnel them money? We're not funding terrorism, my ass. We're actually paying for the administrative services and the office buildings and the salaries of terrorists. Yeah. No, yeah. But don't worry, that's not happening. Yeah, that's not happening. I'll tell you somebody that you want to put your money towards. It's actually going to make America great again and get free speech out there. That's Rumble Premium, folks. This sponsor is from Rumble, and we love them. One that is incredibly important to the survival of the company, folks. If you're seeing that we're being shadow banned on YouTube, you want to know who's not shadow banning us? Is Rumble. We have 1,800 followers on Rumble. We have more people watching on Rumble with 1,800 followers than I do with 69,000 people subscribing to me over at YouTube. Rumble does not shadow ban. Rumble pushes our content, and we appreciate them. When Rumble first started in 2013, they built a platform for small creators such as myself. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or even like censor opinions on COVID, but they did. I mean, Facebook admitted to it, not once, not twice, but 3 times. And they fell to the pressure of the Biden-Harris administration. Rumble did not. Rumble held the line, baby. They are attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you fine people, you fine patriots. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They're attacked from brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove free speech. Rumble is fighting to keep it, baby. Rumble won't survive, though, with brand advertisers. They don't get much of it. So they got to get money from somewhere, and it has to be from the hardworking Americans that want to push free speech. Watching our show on Rumble is the most they can ask from you, but if you really believe in this fight and you believe in the cause and have the means, one major way you can join is by going to Rumble Premium and joining up today. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble's offering $10 off with promo code STUDIO. When you purchase an annual subscription, go to rumble.com/premium and use promo code STUDIO, baby. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, well, you just watching over here at Rumble, that's all we can ask of you as well. Thank you so much for always joining us over at Rumble. We're not going anywhere, folks. Hit that like and subscribe button if you can. If you're over at Rumble, follow us. Follow me on X, TikTok. I'm everywhere, baby. I'm everywhere. Well, you have the tariffs in place, which we talked about if you're just joining us. We have Doge doing the Lord's work. And we also have border crossings down by 93%.
That's your work so far.
Well, look, I looked at the numbers this morning, Maria. The crossings on the border are down 93%. 93%.
Wow.
That's a bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. So, look, I said it. President Trump is a game changer. No one has had the success he's had on securing the border. He clearly understands we can't have strong national security if we don't have border security. We need to know who's coming in, what's coming in, where it's coming in, why it's coming in. And we have achieved a success on the border already. We got more work to do. And on top of that, as far as the deportation operation, we're just shy of, I think we got 5,000 already arrested the first week, and majority of them being criminals. The non-criminals, and the media's talking about, oh, who are these non-criminals? The non-criminals are arrested in sanctuary cities because you force us into the community rather than arresting the bad guy in the jail. And when we find that criminal, he's most likely with others, and they're going to go too. So if you want to be a sanctuary city, you're going to get exactly what you don't want. More agents in the community and more non-criminals arrested.
Tom Homan doing the Lord's work. We got a lot of video clips here to show you with what's going on with legal immigration. But before we get that, we got a donation again from Steven. Thank you so much. Steven's putting in the work here. It's official. It's Gulf of America. Biden put a no drilling of oil in Gulf of Mexico. We can start drilling for oil now in the Gulf of America. That's why Trump wanted the name to change, Drill Baby Drill. Yeah, there's some truth to that. I'm hearing rumors that is true, where you're changing the name. The contracts change, and we're not drilling in the Gulf of Mexico. We're drilling in the Gulf of America, baby. Thank you, Steven, for always supporting the show. Appreciate you, man. And we're continuing this. We got this happening in my home state, not too far north of me here. Oxnard. If you weren't following the news over the weekend, there was these small groups, and I'm saying small for a reason because they were, that were kind of displaced all around America, protesting getting rid of illegal aliens. And what you're going to see is all of them are flying the Mexican flag. This is in America, by the way. And they're burning the American flag. They're flying the Mexican flag. They're burning our flag. And then they can't fathom why we don't have any empathy for them while they're getting deported. And he's dousing it with what either is lighter fluid or some sort of fluid. And then he's wafting it with the Mexican flag. Little kid here. That's just, look at teenager there, teenager. If you notice, all they're doing is they're bringing out their family members and a bunch of teenagers and young people that don't have an actual F what's going on because they couldn't pass high school. That's what's taking place here. How do I know that? It's because a lot of people nowadays aren't actually passing high school. They are, but the numbers are so inflated that these people don't know common sense. They're burning the flag. And we're supposed to keep all these illegal people here. Now, some of these people might be illegal. I think these are just a bunch of teenagers that don't know what they're doing. They're idiots, and they're going out protesting because they don't have jobs. They have nothing better to do. This kid right here might be a good idea to pull up the pants, maybe get some clothes that don't, the clothes that fit properly, and maybe teach him how to read or do math. I think there's a better useful of time here, because I guarantee you, probably struggling in school, at least in one subject. The reason why is, on average, most students will struggle at least in one subject in school. Maybe spend the time not indoctrinating your kid on burning an American flag, thinking that's a cool idea, then maybe being a responsible parent and getting your kid off the streets. Bunch of idiots over there. They are idiots. I don't care. Screen grab it. You're an idiot. If you're burning the American flag and you're waving in somebody else's country's flag, excuse me, in the country that you're living in, you're an idiot. Somebody has to tell it to their face. I have zero sympathy for deporting illegal aliens that are here illegally. And I don't want to make it seem like it's a big deal in the sense of people are trying to blow this whole thing up like there's a ton of protests happening around the country. No, there's not. It's not a large group of people by any means. This is the best I saw. This is on the 101 freeway. I used to take this freeway to go to work for a lot of years. I drove like an hour and a half, 2 hours to work every day. And they shut down. This is probably, other than the 5, which you could see connects right here, a mile. Probably other than the 5, this is the most important highway in Los Angeles. And they completely shut it down. This seems like a lot of people. It's really not, you guys. There's a lot of youth. There's a lot of children here. This is the best they got. They brought their families, and there's a reason why it's cut there. You have to understand this goes, wow, there must be thousands upon thousands of people. There really wasn't. There was probably 1,000 people. That's really it. Folks, the state of California has almost 40 million people. There is millions of people that live in Los Angeles, and a lot of them are Hispanic as well. This is the best they got. Nobody's supporting this. You would think, oh, it keeps going. No, you could see where it starts thinning out under the bridge right here. That's why they cut the clip, because they wanted it to seem like, whoa, look, everybody's supporting them. Nobody's supporting them, you guys. And then what are they doing? They're tagging up the highway. Look at this. They're burning the American flag. They're vandalizing our highways. This is the 101, folks. I believe this part's heading north here on the 101. You can see where they've already had to paint over everything before, because you have these gangbangers that think it's cool. Orale, homie, I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna fire up this place full of this cement. This town is ours, homie. I tell you what, well, I don't know shit, but I'll tell you, I can graffiti it, say. Notice all the flags. High schooler, teenager, high schooler. These aren't, These are just people that want to go out and protest something they know nothing about. They couldn't tell you anything about U.S. history. They couldn't tell you anything about anything. So this kind of shows you how small the crowds are. There's not a lot of people here. They're making it seem like there is, but there's not. You can see the graffiti, right? Because it's Los Angeles. Stopping cars. Notice there's no ICE agents around. Look at the kids with their backpacks on a... Look at, how many kids, just this one shot do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 5 or 6 somewhere along in here. Unbelievable. Can you imagine just trying to go to work? You're just trying to and just shut down. Do you know how bad traffic is going to, or was, when you're shutting down one of the most major freeways in Los Angeles? People complain because when Trump goes to Los Angeles, they shut down the highways, and rightfully so. So they're opening up Guantanamo Bay. There's a transition for you. Trump deploys Marines to expand migrant detention at Guantanamo Bay. This was also echoed by Pete Hegseth, our defense secretary. United States President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of Marines to Guantanamo Bay to expand its migrant operations center. The facility is being prepared to house 30,000 migrants, particularly those with criminal records, as part of a broader immigration national security strategy. This development is part of the efforts to enhance border security. The reason why I think he's doing this is obviously you need to get them out of this country, right? If they're murderers, rapists, sex traffickers, drug cartel, whatever, who doesn't matter. If they're a criminal, violent one, get them out immediately. Is because you have these countries that aren't willing to take them back. What you could do is just divert that plane and go, take him to Guantanamo, get him out of here. And look, they have a nice place to sleep. It's a nice place. I was told, it's fine. How could you do that? How could you just drop them off in the middle of nowhere? No, we're not. They have a nice bed at Guantanamo. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll get warm a little bedtime. They'll get meals. No, they'll be taken care of. Don't worry about it. So they're arriving there, the Marines. And you have, well, I think I got that clip coming up. I don't want to spoil you too soon, folks. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like and subscribe button. If you're wondering why we're still going live, like, Brad, normally you're done at 7. Is I don't have work today, which is nice. Random day off of work. So you got Scott Jennings here laying down business about illegal aliens being deported. And CNN, I'm not kidding, goes, well, how are Americans going to eat their blueberries? This is real.
That if you are trying to actively hire illegal immigrants, if you think that's best, if you are trying to game the system, if you are trying to help someone break U.S. federal immigration law, I think if we're going to have a true crackdown on illegal immigration in this country, it has to involve everybody who's participating in it. And I think you've raised a good point with this topic. And so employers and anyone else who's part of this pipeline, I think they ought to be put on notice. And you got to play by the rule. Everybody has to play by the rule.
I don't want to hear that they're doing work that no one else will do. Talk to guys in the building trades, plumbers, contractors.
Picking strawberries.
These building trades guys are being hurt.
I can't
by
wait.
labor that shouldn't be here.
I can't wait until American women can't get blueberries for their smoothies. I cannot wait until there is a full crackdown on all small businesses, as if that's going to be the solution to the immigration problem. It is just going to put immigration-related issues further into the darker corners. We're not going to see them. It's just going to become even harder to solve the problem. It doesn't make sense to punish individuals and people when there is a broken system.
I mean, look, I think if you came here illegally and when you came, you did it, you broke the law, you have to understand it's a new day in America. And number two, I still think the case for total economic collapse, if we have some deportation, is totally overstated. I mean, it's obvious the priority is violent criminals and the second priority is people with existing deportation orders. I think that's the vast majority of what's going to go on, for the next couple of years. And I don't think that's going to have any impact on the economy at all.
But I wonder about just acknowledging the role of undocumented people in the economy. I mean, I think that's the part that's not happening. I mean, earlier today,
it's just remarkable how they try to rationalize it. It's a conversation we need to have that's on the economy. No, it's everything's going to be fine. Our economy ran just fine without illegal immigrants. When there's a massive influx, we're going to be fine after. We're trying to make it seem like this is, everything, we're going to come crashing down. No, we're not. Going to be 100% okay. 100%. You want to know what's really effed up here? And people are actually starting to notice this. When we were trying to free the slaves, Democrats go, well, who's going to pick my cotton and pick my food? And then now in 2025, Democrats are going, who's going to pick my food and clean my toilets? What the fuck? Democrats haven't changed for over 100 years. Who's going to clean my house and pick my food? What the fuck? And then they're going, who's going to clean my house and pick my food? They haven't changed. And Republicans are going, you're going to be fine. You can go grow your own food. You can do a lot of things on your own. All of this is out of luxury and leisure that we have. Like, our economy's going to stagnate because illegals are gone. No, it's not. It's funny because there's supposed to be a massive protest with a bunch of Mexicans not going to work today. And I'm looking around going, everything's fine. Nobody notices. It's okay. And can we also call out the elephant in the room? It's not just Mexicans that are getting deported. There's like 190 different countries that are here illegally. I love how the conversation's about Hispanics and Mexicans. Like, everybody's here. Everybody's getting deported. Unbelievable. We live in crazy times. We really do live in crazy times. Now, shout out to Trump for doing something good over the weekend. You didn't see this from Joey. There was no warning. There was nothing. Trump just sat there and dropped bombs, baby, on a bunch of terrorists. Trump delivers chilling message to terrorists after ordering strike on ISIS. There was no warning, by the way. He just went boom. He called up Pete and goes, hey, Petey. Yeah, hey, Petey, what's going on? Oh, me, just drinking a Diet Coke in the Oval. Yeah, Petey. What do you think about dropping bombs today? Yeah, I know. It's so early. You out of bed? Yeah. We're going to drop bombs on ISIS, brother. Come on in, have a Diet Coke with me. It's going to be awesome. I have 4K feed. Oh, it's 8K. Sorry, Petey, 8K, even better. Come on over. Probably really close to what happened, by the way. Calls his friend Pete Hegseth up. Pete, we're going to drop bombs on terrorists. Kaboomy. So this morning I ordered precision, and I got video of it. This morning I ordered precision military airstrikes on the senior ISIS attack planner and other terrorists he recruited and led in Somalia. Trump said in a statement, these killers who were found hiding in caves threaten the United States and our allies. The strikes destroyed the caves they lived in and killed many terrorists without in any way harming civilians. Our military has targeted the ISIS attack planner for years, but Biden and his cronies wouldn't act quickly enough to get the job done. Well, Mr. 45 did. And let me see if I didn't have it queued up, but I know I have the clip itself of us doing a massive boom boom operation on a bunch of ISIS terrorists in Somalia. And good on Trump for this, of getting the job done. And again, no warning. Just like I said, woke up and goes, oh, we know where these guys are at. Yeah, let's just drop a few big old boom booms. Look at this. Kaboom. You know, Trump, when he saw that, goes, oh, Pete, hey, somebody get JD in here. JD would really love this. JD, look at the plume. Look at the big boom boom I did. Wow. People think I'm making fun of Trump. I'm not. I love the guy. I voted for him for 3 times. Look at it. God, can we get Lee Greenwald in here? Is that possible, Margaret? Secretary Margaret, can we get Lee in here to sing to us? I don't have audio. God bless America. Land that I live. Pete starts getting in the mix. JD stumbles in going, oh. I love it. You notice there was no warning. I keep bringing it up because Joey goes, don't do that. Stop it. Don't do that. That was Joey for 4 years, 127 times to be exact, before he actually did anything. So good on Trump for making big boom booms over there in the Middle East. Love it. Absolutely love it. And the left will rationalize how it's a bad idea, right? Oh, how could you? They're just people that are trying to survive. They're living in caves. Yeah, planning to kill you, you idiots. I have no qualms with somebody trying to rationalize terrorism and why we shouldn't kill them as idiots, because that's what they are. Common sense. In the same way, when you want to allow criminals to rape your husband, your daughters, and your wives and murder them, and you want to harbor them in your sanctuary cities, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. And you know they don't really believe that. Well, case in point is, let's have them babysit your kids. Oh yeah, let's test it out. What we should do, and I really do mean this. I'm as serious as a heart attack. Tom Homan should take somebody that raped a bunch of people, like an illegal alien, go house to house with them, and say, hey, this is a guy that just raped a bunch of people, and find those, right? Because you can do facial imaging. Find those that wanted to go out and protest in LA, and see if they'll take them in. And no, I don't want none of this of, hey, we're going to allow them. I want to see if they would allow them to babysit their kid. Pull the parents out, allow that guy to go in with the kids. And I want to see these people that want to allow illegal aliens to stay in this country. I want to see what they do and say. I'm serious, because it will call out their bullshit really quick. They don't actually believe it. They just want to go out and do something because they're bored. They don't know what to do because they don't have a job. So they need to block the 101 freeway and stop other people from getting to their actual job because those people don't have one. Steven with another $5. Steven's coming in hot here today. What the hell? Gavin Newsom been quiet lately. Any word, Brad, on Newsom? No. He sucks. Allegedly, he's getting recalled. We will see. Well, that's what they say. I don't know. We got big news on Panama. You guys, I don't think I can't emphasize it enough. There's so much news. I mean, there was plane crashes that I could cover. There's terrorists here that I could cover. I mean, I got to pick. I hope you understand. I got to pick. Marco Rubio getting stuff done. I mean, the guy wasn't even there longer than a couple hours, and Panama's already like back to being ours almost. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said during an interview this week that President Donald Trump is serious about U.S. retaking Panama Canal and acquiring Greenland for national security purposes. And I fully believe it now. Before, I thought it was like a talking point, like Trump was being Trump. He's joking around. Like, I'm going to take Greenland. Oh, it sounds like a great vacation spot. Now, he knows it's good for natural resources and it's good for national security, but the Arctic Circle and the Arctic region is going to become critical for shipping lanes for how you can get some of this energy that's going to be produced under President Trump. These energies rely on shipping lanes. The Arctic is some of the most valuable shipping lanes in the world. As some of the ice is melting, become more and more, you basically navigate it more. We need to be able to defend that. And it's good to just have that land right there for security measures, because if you ever needed to intercept something, you have that land right there that can easily intercept it. That's a lot closer to, say, like Russia or some other countries and block it. So he goes to Panama, and Panama basically is reversing its negotiations with China. And that was something that was trending just yesterday. So we'll go through a little bit of these tweets here, but the Panama Canal is vital to America's national security and economic security interest. We must remain vigilant in protecting the vital assets from the Chinese Communist Party. I think what's taking place here is Marco Rubio's position, and I'm speculating, I don't know, so I just want to be clear on that, is when he went to Panama to talk to the president, I think he told the president that he violated the negotiations that were implemented. And by him violating the negotiations, him maybe unwillingly completely voided that negotiation, like that contract. I don't know if it was a treaty or what was signed. And so I really do believe that now it's completely void and that we could technically start over from scratch. Or that is the narrative that maybe might come out of, hey, we're going to renegotiate this whole thing. So Panama is pledging to end a key development deal with China on Panama. I mean, things are moving here.
Meantime, President Trump's foreign policy bearing fruit on other fronts. Panama now pledging to end a key development deal with China on the Panama Canal. The reversal coming following Trump's tough talk and a visit from Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He spoke moments ago on working with the Central American nation to stem illegal immigration.
Recognize that many of the people who seek mass migration are often victims and victimized along the way. It's not good for anyone. The only people who benefit from mass migration are traffickers. And so this is a program that shows how cooperating with our strong allies here in Panama can help to stem the flow by creating a disincentive, by sending a clear message that if you come and you come irregularly, you may be stopped and you may be returned to your country of origin.
I could be wrong on the negotiation side of it. I just find it very interesting that the president of Panama was kind of like China and Mexico. Oh, it's so absurd that Trump is talking this way and maybe using military forces to take back the Panama Canal. We built it, motherfucker. We built that. We lost lives building that thing. You made a promise and you broke that promise. And because you broke that promise, I think that we should take it back and that it's ours. The president of Panama vows not to renew the 2017 Chinese contracts on the Panama Canal that are part of the CCP's Belt and Road Initiative. The contracts come up in 1 or 2 years, but could be done even sooner. I think you're going to see some renegotiations here, and I really do believe those negotiations are going to be all a part of the United States, big time. So there's the news for you all today. I'm trying to see really quickly here if there's anything else that is trending right now. Let me cover this because many of you have talked about this in the live chat just really quick. Beyond repair, Musk says Trump has given the go-ahead to get rid of USAID. Many of you have put this in the chat today, not just on X, but also YouTube and Rumble. Elon Musk said early Monday morning that he had received President Trump's approval to eliminate the U.S. Agency for International Development. This was something that Musk talked about on X last night with Vivek Ramaswamy and Senator Mike Lee and Janice Ernst is her name. I'm getting her name wrong, but he mentioned how he went into the Oval. Elon Musk went into the Oval Office more than a couple times to make sure that he was going to delete this program. So he said, "Mr. President, are you sure?" And Trump said, "Absolutely sure, clear as day, couldn't be any more clear." Musk made the comments during a discussion on X. There you go, Joni Ernst. I knew it was something like that, from Iowa. As they talked about the work of Trump has called the Department of Government Efficiency, the website USAID, which spends tens of billions of dollars, I think like almost 40 billion or something, every year on various programs around the world, appears to have been shut down on Saturday. Love it. It became apparent that it's not an apple with a worm in it, Musk said. What we have is just a ball of worms. You've got to basically get rid of the whole thing. It's beyond repair. And then if you want certain aspects of it, what you could do is just move those aspects to the State Department. That's all you have to do here. I don't know why Democrats freak out over this stuff. I mean, I get it because they love big government, but just move it to the State Department, the fine little ones that are actually important inside the USAID. That's all you have to do. I don't know why we're making this such a big deal. It became apparent that it's not an apple, but a worm. Well, with a worm in it. Musk said he had discussed the USAID, which referred to a hornet's nest, with Trump multiple times in detail, and he agreed that he would shut it down. And there you go, he did. And Trump said yes several times. We're shutting it down. It's also incredibly politically partisan and has been supporting radical left causes throughout the world, including things that are anti-American, which is insane. A lot of the stuff that you're finding out in this Doge reports that are coming out on a weekly basis, it seems like, is a lot of asinine things. And that's what you get with these big spending packages, is a bunch of nonsense that nobody knows about, or a line item that nobody wants to look deeper in. And it turns out you're sending $50 million in terms of condoms going to Gaza or some other stupid ass thing around the world, when we should be spending that money here on maybe building up our infrastructure, or not spending it at all and lowering people's taxes. Here's Donald Trump.
What's going on there?
Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
mind-blowing because they're going, how could you call them radical lunatics? I don't know. Maybe by looking at what they spent. It's pretty radical and it's pretty idiotic, in my opinion, that you're spending on this bogus crap that you don't need to be spending on. And these same people that are complaining about all this stuff that Elon Musk is cutting are the same people when they're driving down the road, they hit a freaking fat pothole. Goddamn government can't fix anything. Maybe it's because you're sending it to Abu Dhabi and some place in freaking Egypt that's filling their own potholes instead of your own. Now, I understand it's the state's responsibility to fill those potholes as well as the localities, but you get what I'm saying in terms of an analogy. The left can't compare. They go, oh, how are you talking about that? You don't know how budgets work. You don't know how money funnels. Unbelievable. But there's wasteful spending, big time wasteful spending. And you know, you always have to leave it up to an idiot to not want to emphasize the wasteful spending. So Margaret Brennan's the idiot here, and she pivots during an interview after Brian Mast shows evidence of wasteful spending. Why? Because it completely squashes their narrative. They promulgated this, and meaning they, the legacy media, people like Margaret Brennan, who the hell do you have? Jim Acosta, Don Lemon, Anderson Cooper, promulgated, because the Democrats need names, right? They need receipts, because when you say they, it's too broad for them. Well, when you bring the receipts, it shuts down their narrative and they have to sidestep it. But you couldn't possibly allow this to be displayed to your viewers, because once you display it to their viewers, their entire worldview goes, but you told me this one thing for years. My monitor just shut off. Oh, there we go. All right, fixed. All right, let's roll it.
Purging of people throughout the State Department, other agencies, where we're freezing aid. These are all very important and necessary steps to make sure that we secure America, and we're going to support that.
I'm sorry, can I follow up on what you just said there? You want to authorize purging of State Department personnel? What does that mean exactly?
Well, if you want to take a look at the State Department, where DEI has been a priority over, let's say, diplomacy in many accounts, I could give you hundreds of examples of where they were authorizing.
What proof do you have of that?
Sure. Let's list them off. $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal, $50,000 to do, let's see, a transgender opera in Colombia, $47,000 to do an LGBTQ trans comic book in Peru, $20,000 a pop to do drag shows in Ecuador. Shall I continue with more examples of where DEI was the priority?
It certainly seems like there could be a review of things. Foreign aid, as you know, is less than 1% of the entire federal budget. So we're talking small amounts of money by comparison.
We're still talking.
Oh, we're talking about a small amount of money. So let me get this straight. You know, she always does this. I want to go back, and it bugs the crap out of me when she does this. Hold on, let me find it for you. It's right here.
I'm sorry, can I follow up on what you just said there?
Watch this.
You want to authorize purging of State Department personnel? What does that mean exactly?
You want to authorize? She always does stuff like that. So let me get this straight. You want to do this as if that condescending, there's that tone there. And a lot of you know what the hell I'm talking about. There's that tone. And when you bring it up, they make it seem like you're crazy, that there is no tone there, that she's just acting natural. And this is a normal way that a reporter's supposed to be talking to somebody. It's not. She does that tone where it's like, it's preposterous. It's insane. How could you be cutting this wasteful spending? And so when she asks for specifics and he gives it to her, then she tries to rationalize going, well, it's less than 1% of the budget. I mean, it's not that much money. Are you dumb, Margaret? Are you an idiot? You're talking billions of dollars, you knucklehead. And that's me being polite. So it's wasteful spending, but yeah, we should still allow it because in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much money compared to the budget. Who the fuck thinks like that? Hey, we're in debt, but we should still be spending it because it's only a fraction of what we're spending on debt. I love how he just started rattling off all these things, just slapped her in the face with it. She's an idiot. She really is. She is so far out. How does she have... She's terrible. Somebody needed to say it, and I'll say it. She's terrible. Somebody else is terrible. I'll end off with this clip. Is Chuck Schumer acting like an idiot here regarding Super Bowl weekend? Here's Chuck. I had to make sure I showed this to you guys. I was going to lead with it, but I forgot.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer.
Oh, my God.
Okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico.
It's a trash beer.
It's going to affect your guac. Because what is guacamole made of? Avocados, both from Mexico.
This is a real clip. This is a real clip. Notice he didn't hold up any Canadian products. Corona's a dog shit beer. Someone needs to emphasize that. I drink Stone IPA, double IPAs, triple IPAs. Garbage beer. This is basically water. And these have been overpriced for some time now. I don't eat guacamole because it's overpriced. If I can get them for 50 cents, that's fine. And also, I have a avocado tree. I don't need to buy them. It's amazing when you start growing things yourself, you guys, it turns to be a lot cheaper. Yeah, you just grow, it will take a while to grow an avocado tree, but you can get one. Or just know somebody that has an avocado tree, you'll just get them for free. By the way, you shouldn't even be drinking. It's not even that good for you. God forbid you guys got to cut beer out of your life. Whoa. Well, it's going to help your liver. You're going to lose weight dramatically in the span of like a couple weeks if you're a chronic drinker. Wow. Whoa. That's just terrible. I can't buy Corona. As if there's not a litany of other beers that you could pick from. Like I said with the Bud Light, now you can actually try something different because you don't want to spend an enormous amount of money on Corona. And it's a garbage beer. The fact that you have to make yet there's a lot of people that put a lime and salt with the Corona to make it taste better. That says everything you need to know right there. If you have to add something to a beer to make it taste better, you know it's a garbage product, a garbage beer. People drink it because it's cheap. A lot of college students buy it to play beer pong with because it's cheap. Just as the reason why they buy Natty Ice or like a Bud Light or like a Coors, because it's cheap. That's why people buy it. Because they can afford it. They get drunk off of it after they drink like 5 beers. I'm not wrong. I gotta be in dire straits to drink a freaking Corona, let me tell you. I gotta be roughing it. And let's show this too. We'll end off on a good note. I don't want to end off on Chuck Schumer. He's an idiot. She gets it right here at, I think this was the Grammys, speaking pure truth about illegal immigration. And
I think the
do you want to call something out? I got a lot of Mexican friends. I live in Southern California. A lot of my friends are Mexicans. Completely okay with deporting criminals and honestly illegal aliens. You're seeing the media navigate this road to find that needle in a haystack of a Mexican, a Hispanic, a Chinese person, a Vietnamese, it doesn't matter who it is, that wants to allow illegal aliens in the country and making it seem like there's a lot of people that are in support of keeping illegal aliens here. They're not. And can I just do a shout out really quick to everybody that's following me on X right now? I see you guys. You guys, I read everything. If you want to message me on X as well, message me. I'll have a conversation with you. I was talking to some random people, you guys. Just don't think because I'm having I think people think when I have a conversation with them that I'm hitting on them. I'm married. But I'll have a conversation with you if you want to have a chat on X every now and then. I'll go back and forth with you. But thank you for everybody that's following me over here. I appreciate you and engaging. I do engage back. So if you don't want to email me and you want to hit me up, like I know Karen's hit me up on here. I think Miriam's in here. There's Miriam right here. Miriam's right here. Karen's down here at the bottom. You can't see her because my head's blocked in the way. So hit me up if you guys want. I'm not one of those content creators that's going to blow you off. I'll heart your stuff. Like I have to be careful on social media on some of the things I post and write. So just be aware of that. If you say something like heads up, Pat, I love you, buddy, but I couldn't respond to that message you left on X the other night. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on. Or here's what Pat wrote me. So Pat goes, it's if the only reason to keep them here is for a drink that tastes like horse piss. We were just talking about that. And something that looks like baby shit. It's not good enough. Send them back. I think we'll survive. Now, I could have written something back, but I just wanted him to know that I did read it last night. And so I heard it. I just couldn't write back. But anyways, thank you to everybody that follows us. Thank you to everybody that donated to the show today. If you want, I rarely plug this actual part of the show. If you go to my website, Bald Brad, there is a donation tab up here. And I just want to show you, don't feel like you have to, please. I just want to show you. What's cool about this is they have different amounts, right? But you can also do one-time donation, monthly or weekly. But you can also do a custom amount. And you could set that to one time, monthly, weekly as well. That way, if you don't want to keep giving YouTube your money, I get majority of what's being sent here. So if you put in like $10, you can do a one-time donation, make it monthly or weekly, whatever you want to do. Don't feel like you have to. I keep saying that, but people have started using this. People are doing like $2 or $1. That is super generous. I'm not complaining about that. But I do get notified every time a donation comes through. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's using my donation site. That is very thankful and helpful. So thank you to everybody that's doing it through there. And like I said, F YouTube, man. They're screwing with us. Or if you want to take it over to Rumble, Rumble also gives us most, and you're supporting a platform that wants free speech. It's a little bit more. They kind of pigeon you whole into, I think, $4.99. But at least you know it's going to me and a platform that actually cares about you, other than freaking YouTube that wants to shadow ban us. Case in point, you're seeing people in here that are subscribed to my channel for a long time, and legitimately, my own subscribers are having to look for Bald Brad, their own place that they subscribe to find the content. That's the definition of shadow ban. But thank you for everybody that's always joining us. Thank you for all the members in the chat, both on Rumble, YouTube, and X, folks. We'll be back here tomorrow with another episode of The Bald Brad Show. I appreciate all of you, and we'll have a great and blessed day. Take care.